Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's a cold, wet little afternoon today. So first thing that came to mind was peated scotch. Haven't had anything from Islay in a while. And that's what we got. Port Charlotte 10 coming out of Islay, Scotland. Heavily peated Islay single malt. That's what we got today, guys. Check it out. Port Charlotte 10-year, coming out of the Bruichladdich distillery in the Isle of Islay in Scotland. So this whiskey is comes in this iconic dark bottle. It's 10 years, 10 years old, 50% ABV, so 100 proof. This one runs about $75 roughly. It's easily obtainable. You can find this in most grocery stores, most whiskey shops that sell Scotch whiskey. I mean, it's obtainable. I actually picked this bottle up in Couyons in Houma. But really good whiskey. So Bruichladdich Distillery in general, they make the classic Laddie. They make Laddie 10-year, which is pretty comparable to this, except it's unpeated. This is their peated version. It's called Port Charlotte. But all of their whiskeys that they make is like it's a hands-on approach. It's a very craft whiskey distillery. Even the back doesn't have a whole lot on the bottle, but on the back of the can, it'll kind of tell you a little bit. This Port Charlotte has been conceived, distilled, matured, and bottled on Islay alone. So all of their whiskeys. Some whiskeys in Scotland, even in the United States, and bourbon, rye, they might make it there at the distillery, but it might be bottled somewhere else, or they'll make it at the distillery and it's aged. They take it and age it somewhere else, maybe bring it back to the distillery to bottle it. Everything's done at Bruichladdich Distillery on Islay. So I mean that's a pretty good approach to make sure the whiskey comes out good, because every process of making that whiskey is done at the distillery. So if there's no break, there's no middleman that could mess up production of whiskey. On top of that, it says we're a young team with deep-rooted values and an ambition to make the ultimate Islay whiskey. So I remember having this. It's been a while since I had Port Charlotte, but I remember it being a little less smoky than Ardbeg and Lefroy. It doesn't have that bang like huge freaking smoke flavor, but it does. It's in there. It's just even though it says heavily peated, it's almost kind of off-putting when it says heavily peated, because most of the whiskeys that I like have a touch of peat to it, to where it's playing with the rest of the orchestra of flavors in there, and it's not like the main thing hitting. But color's beautiful. It's natural color, non-show filtered. They're very transparent about how they make the whiskey and what goes on the whiskey with Bruichladdich Distillery. So almost like a gold, light gold color, polished gold maybe. Let's get into the nose, guys. So right away, the peat note is there, but it's just as prevalent as like a sweetness, almost like a citrus. It's got a citrus lemon peel nose to it. It's got some vanilla, which all of the bourbon is aged in all of the whiskey is aged in ex-bourbon cask. So none of it's ex-sherry cask. It's all ex-bourbon cask whiskey. Almost like a sweet and sour with it, like a ginger quality to it. Definitely like a lemon peel, vanilla, sweet and sour ginger. You get that peat, but it's very faint peat smoke. That's about it on the nose. It's good though. I mean, it has a nice little pleasant aroma to this whiskey. Let's get into the taste, guys. Cheers. Man, It's been so long since I had this. So right away, first thing you get is like a lemon oil. It's very viscous of a whiskey. For it only being 100 proof, it's thick. So most scotches we get in the States come in about, the higher proof ones would be 90 proof. But you get them at 80, you get them at 86. But 100 proof scotch, I mean, it's got some viscosity to it. It's thick. It has like a lemon oil quality to it. You do get a ginger note because it's like sweet and sour, almost like an herbal quality too. Yeah, like if you've ever had like Italian seasoning that has the oregano, basil, sage, it's hard to pick out exactly what herb that is, but it's like an herbal quality to it, almost like an Italian seasoning kind of bitterness to it, which is good. It's not like bitter from like a bitter wood tannin. It's almost it adds a complexity to the whiskey. I wouldn't say an off-putting bitter note that like bitter wood would be an off-putting note for me. This is more like an herbal sage-like quality to the whiskey. With the vanilla and the lightly sweet notes to it, it's good. Peat comes in about mid-palate, but like I said, it's an orchestra of flavors. It plays with the sweet, the bitter, the sour notes. It doesn't overpower the other notes to it. So it's perfectly made whiskey when it plays all together, and it just comes in with the flavor. It's not like just the sweet is too sweet or it's too peaty. Like, it's not one aspect of the whiskey that sticks out. This one just like comes together and makes one flavor event just like a great whiskey event, just sipping on it, you know what I mean? Really good whiskey. So this would be a good one for introductory to peat. People who want to try some peated whiskey, but don't want to start with like a Lafroig or an Ardbeg, something that's going to blow your socks off with peat, or even Lagavulin, which is more mild. But this would come into a good. This would be a good introductory to a peated whiskey for somebody like a bourbon drinker or somebody who's just getting into the world of peated whiskeys. It's good. It's sweet, but it's not like. It would also be like, if you've been drinking some sweet stuff like bourbons, most of the bourbons are real sweet with the presence, obviously 51% corn with a bourbon. You're gonna get more sweeter flavors, the caramels, the vanillas, the brown sugar notes, cherry. This it's more savory, so you're gonna get like a sea salt. You almost get like that sea salt maritime quality to this Bruichladdich. Obviously, it's made by on an island right next to the shore, so you get like a salty kind of briny note with that citrus and everything else. It's more savory than it is sweet, so it'd be a good break if you're a rum drinker or you like sweet bourbons and you've been having a lot of sweet whiskeys and you want even some of the sherry finished whiskeys or sherry aged scotch. It's really sweet. You get like a berry. Almost like jam kind of quality. This one's more savory. So it'd be a good break with it. Really long finish. So for it being 10 years old, you get a pretty good finish with it. I'm pretty sure that 100 proof, just the proof is carrying into that finish along with the 10 years. But whiskey rating out on it, Couyons rating, I'm going to go 8 out of 10. Terrific whiskey. Really good stuff. Very complex. It deserves 8 out of 10. It might even push out to an 8.25 on a good day. But I like it on 8 out of 10. That's what we got with Port Charlotte. So if you've ever had anything from Bruichladdich Distillery, whether it be the classic laddie, this Port Charlotte, say you put down some money and got some Octomores, I'd like to see what you think about the Octomores. Or this one. Let us know in the comments, guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.